Okay, this spring semester is ending soon, almost, and your final credit can be rewarded from your final exam. Final exam is planned. Look at that announcement in 3 ways. First of all, important notes. Final exam will cover everything. What that means is that the Linux, the skills discussed before midterm will be asked 40% of your final exam, and 60% of your final exam will be asked from the topics discussed after your midterm exam. Okay? So 60% from the topics after midterm, and 40% from you already taken for your midterm exam. Some of the questions will be repeated, the same questions. Some questions will be a little bit tweaked, but very similar questions that you already have known and studied for your midterm exams. So types of questions are very similar to your midterm. Multiple choice, true, false, filling in the blanks, and short answer. Any question about the coverage of your final exam? Okay. Time, the final exam. I planned the 3 options, so you can take one. There are 2 in person and 1 online. Let me first take a look at this online exam. That should be proctored online exam. Only if you can, if you know some experience, if you know for sure, then you can take this option. You need to have basically two laptops. One laptop that will be your exam lockdown browser exam. And then the other laptop, of course, both of your laptop should have cameras on. So the other laptop, we can talk over Zoom. So over the Zoom and Zoom camera, I need to see you and your monitor, so I can proctor you through that Zoom. Okay, only if you are ready for that, then you can take that option. That is a Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, May 9th, 9 o'clock a.m. So you can take that. So any question about that online exam? Yeah, that is optional. I do not encourage you to go for that option 2. Option 1 or 2, option 1 and 3, that is in person. Option 1 at the Westchester campus, Mayo Hall 112, and the other option here at Manhattan. Each different date. So we go for Dobbsbury test first. There's the first day of final week, right? Thursday, May 7, from 10:30. And the other option for in-person, in-class test is the following Monday, Tuesday, May 12th. Manhattan Cyber Lab, Manhattan 425, starting from 10:30 a.m. So I want you to take one and only one option. Of course, there is no makeup. Mainly because time sensitive. So I have to grade and I have to report on that week. In that way, some of you may graduate by having enough graduation requirements. That is the reason I have to report immediately after that final exam. Important to note, number 2, there is no other makeup option available beyond these 3 times. Important to note 3, class schedule. Today's class is in person in class for Manhattan sections. Of course, there is online sections, then there are async online. Next week, next Monday, we'll have a final class, the last class, that is async online, which means I am going to record my lecture and post it. So you do not need to come. You do not need to join the Zoom at any specific time, but you can check out at your earliest convenience. Final review is a week after next week, which is May 4th, Monday at 7 p.m. over Zoom. That is very similar to the one that we had for your midterm exam. Okay, any question about all of this plan? Clear? Marco, any question? Go. Okay. So I'm going to invite you for Zoom session close to that time, Monday, May 4th. If I forget, let me know so that I can create a Zoom. Okay, this will be go. Okay, network. Network is very, very important in Linux. More specifically, for cyber security professionals, you guys. So the last two lessons of mine, including today, will be the network. Today we'll look at network management. Next week, of course, you need to take a look at my recordings. Aaron, no, you do not need to come next week. So that will be firewall rules. So by that time, you guys have your web server running, so we can show, hey, we can block some of the IP address if someone wants to come to my web server, or we can allow all those things, the rules. The firewall rules will be discussed the next week, which is really interesting, and that is probably what you really need for your career. So today is the first lesson about network management. Network management needs to do all of these bullet points. Because of the time limit, we don't cover, but most of the covers, right? Here and there, but not bullet after bullet, bullet by bullet. Some of those will be discussed today. Okay, so the most important thing is IP address, right? So how can you see IP? How can we recognize IP on my, there are many ways, so we'll look at that. I have here Raspberry Pi monitor terminal. So IP, if you do not have time, simply A or ADDR. A works, right?
It'll be island right there. 192, 61. That's it right there.
What?
Number 3.
Oh, wait a minute. You go. I know you know. Right. So there are 3 items found, right? 1, 2, 3. LO. What is LO? LO means loop back. So if you want to see a local host, you guys already know when you set up your web server, first thing that you can test on your Raspberry Pi web browser, then you can simply type localhost to verify the successful installation of your Apache 2, right? Apache 2 must be installed first before you consider any else. If you have an error of Apache 2, then don't do any other things. You have to do in that specific procedure. Otherwise, there may be some issue. So I'm going to remind you again. Probably you have that is the last homework assignments that I put on, right? So Apache 2 first installed, and then I believe PHP, right? Oh, is it? Oh, okay. You don't need to. Yeah. Okay. That is a loop back. And the other one is the Ethernet connections. Our Raspberry Pi has the Ethernet ports, but we don't use usually, right? But you can use. For example, if you want to, well, I'm going to tell you maybe later in another lecture. Okay, so we have here link Ethernet MAC address. This is Ethernet. And the third one is wireless, WLAN 0. Broadcast, multicast, up, lower, up. And we have a MAC address here again. And then iNet. This is an IP address. 192.168.7.61/24. I am going to explain what these guys means. Okay, so in this way you can get IP address, IPA. The old one is There's all the command if config. If config, then you can get this is a clean shot, by the way, right? I need to have it here. Yeah. Rather than the output from IPA, a little bit messy. IF config, well aligned. Okay. But IP has a lot more options in that command. So you can see IP, manual of IP, then options, there are lots of options available. Options, VHS statistics, -D details, resolve, INET, 46BL loop, maximum, online, RC, T, TS, N, and then name, -A, all, C, yeah. A lot of those, right? And if you want to see Wi-Fi configuration only, then instead of IF, you can type IW config. Then you can see the wireless. It focuses wireless interface rather than others, right? It simply says this is not wireless extension, which means it doesn't mean that this is not available. We already know this is available, right? Those two interface card available and also wireless card. I believe the wireless card embedded in our Raspberry Pi is, I think, Broadcom. So that is in some other command shows that this is for wireless. So for example, if I said, which command gives you the wireless IP address, then you should say IW config. IF config gives you, but IF gives you all others, right? IPA, again, all others. More specifically for wireless, if I say what is most appropriate command for wireless IP address, then that should be IEW config. For wireless networking, further, deeper, then we can install wireless tools. So let's try to install that. Sudo apt install wireless-tools. And then you can say -y, which means this command is interactive command. You do not want to be interrupted, but to give yes in upfront. So everything, all the questions will be answered by Y. In that case, you have to say that here, like this, right? That's what we do here. Hit enter. I think I already done this. Yeah. So no further. With that, then I can come back to IP and link and show. Then I have, this is more, what is a link? If I want to see linked layer information, link the layer. In the linked layer, what can we have? Some of you guys do not know the 7-layer architecture. If you didn't take a network, there is a OSI models. So this is a 7-layer data link layer here, right? Then you can see this is too small to me. Yeah, one of those is a MAC address, so we can get the MAC address. More link layer informations. So this command gives you that here IP link show. So we can check Wi-Fi details. 3 possible commands are available. So let's try get those 3 commands. So first one is IP link, and then next one is IWDEV. So interface device, the linked layer device information given to you. So in this case, we know we have WLAN, right? This is the interface name that we know. And then there is another name here, P2P dash device. That is another interface. The above ones, all those 2, because IP gives you everything, including the one that we want for wireless, which is WLAN. So particularly we have a MAC address like this. Similarly, this guy says address. IWDEV command gives me the address of the interface. So what kind of address of this? This is a MAC address, like up here, linked layer Ethernet address, MAC address, which is called MAC address, right? 6 byte long, 2CCF67 and that, and then here again, the same ones, right? Because we are talking about the same ones. And SSID is empty CIS lab Wi-Fi. This is currently connected. From the second command here, IWDEV, we have another command, NWCLI. NWCLI stands for network, no, not NW, NM, network management. CLI, there's a very common name, command line interface, CLI. So network management is command line interface. The option is the DEV. So if I, still there, come back here, network management and CLI, and then device status. This guy gives me 4 items, right? WLAN Wi-Fi, currently connected, we know that. Loopback, connected. So we can see localhost or 127.0.0.1. And then last one is Ethernet. We didn't connect it, so that is not available. Third one here, P2P -DEV WLAN 0 Wi-Fi P2P. P2P means point to point. disconnected. This reminds me of here, P2P device, right? So I want you to see here, NMCLI gives me 4 items in its return. IW DEV commands gives me 2, WLAN and P2P device, only 2. Looks like those are wireless information. IP, however, gives me 3. One of those, only one, that is wireless, WLAN 0. Okay, I want you to see those are 3 different cases. And then my question here, see what wireless network interfaces are listed depending on call landline and identify them. So take a look at. I want you to see all others are very clear, right? WLAN, loopback, Ethernet, those are all clear, well known. Only something unusual. It's not really unusual to us, but that exists, which is a P2P device. P2P device comes with the WLAN for the command IW, and also it gives me in the list of NWCLI, but it doesn't appear on the result of IP command. So you guys can understand the P2P device is not that is wireless communication. Therefore, it's not on IP. Therefore, it appears only IW command and network management, the CLI command. Then what is P2P device? Someone may ask, oh, do we have another wireless interface embedded on our Raspberry Pi? No, it is not. We have only one, Broadcom, which is WLAN 0. P2P device is only for management. So when there is WLAN 0 is established, then for the purpose of management, network management, then P2P device appears in the list, but it is not really for the connections. Therefore, it says disconnected. See the red highlighted in red color? Disconnected. Only if you have some questions about P2P device, but it's not really the main issue, main topic of our discussion today. Okay. So we can try even further. There is an IW command, show DEV, we know, and then we say DEV, then it gives me all those 3, right? And if you want to specify more, wireless interface, WLAN 0, and I want to see, if you say WLAN 0, then it gives me it says more options, right? So what do you want to do more options? So I can say link. Then it gives me the link. This is SSID. This is receiving, and this is transmitting. Currently, this is current interface status. Signal, this decibels, bit rates, and this will come a different number at different time. For example, here, this is that number, and here we have the different number, right? This is a current status, the linked layer status. So as I said here, this will shows you current Wi-Fi connection information, SSID, signal bit rates, and etc., etc. So we looked at that, right? Okay, next slide. Another one that you can see your my IP address, then host name -I, then I can see simply my IP address and others there. IP A, that gives me IP address and other network interface, but IP has an option called route. So we can see some of the routing information. So IP route, then it shows very interesting thing here. This is a gateway. So 192.168.7.1. My current IP is 192.168.7.61. But 7.1, that is gateway. The interface device is a WLAN. Protocol for my IP is from DHCP, dynamic host. From the dynamic IP is assigned to me. My source, when I send my packets, source is from me, which is 192.168.7.61, right? That is me here. And the matrix, there's a priority. 600 means that is normal. Okay. So from this subnet, it goes out through this WLAN 0 and even go further. In this command, if I want to test, for example, can I get 1.1.1.1? I do not know what that IP address. Then this is my destination from my gateway through this interface. I want to go, right? But UID is 1000 in cache, whatever, right? We can do this also from my IP. ifconfig. The white terminal here, that is my MacBook. Then gives me all different things. This is a little different from the Linux. Although Mac OS stemmed from the Linux operating systems, but Apple a little bit added or replaced. So we need to find out what is my IP, right? Usually that is from do we have iNet here? This is from MacBook. Probably IP. I'm trying to look at the IP. Yeah, this is an IP, right? 192.168.7.25. This is an IP. So if I want to see here 168.168.7. What is the ones? 25. Does it reach? Of course it reaches, right? So destination is this. Through gateways, it's already, they are looking at the same gateway, right? Look at this. 192.168.7.25. This one, my Raspberry Pi is 61. Gateway is this. So we are looking at this guy and that guy. This is a Raspberry Pi. This is a MacBook. Both are connecting to the same Wi-Fi router. So that is a same gateway. So we don't go through the gateway, simply reach that, right? In this case. So if you see this is my Raspberry Pi 192.168.7.61/24. This is 192.168.7.61. So some of you may have a question about /24. So I want you to be motivated to learn something about that. So it'll come. So ways to find my IP address, a little bit extended versions. So I want you to look at here, IP-S link show WLAN. If you would do IP-S link show WLAN 0, then it gives me in different form, but only IP gives me all three different interfaces, right? But if I say WLAN 0, it gives me number 3, WLAN 0, right? So we looked at this from the previous. And also it gives me the linked MAC address and the receiving and transmitting packets current status is shown, right? So someone may this is at this specific time. the IP address on that, the linked layer, current status of packets coming in and going out. This is very, very interesting and super exciting. Another command that we want to see, but before get to that, question is, can we see something continually? One of them is, the command is watch. So man, if we see watch, then command watch is to execute a program periodically. So -n, that is interval in second. So if I say, this is my command, right? I want to see watch -n, that is interval, every 2 seconds. If I want to do this is the command. See what happens. So every 2 seconds, it updates. So right now it is not. If I want to show my another, let's see. If I want to does it change it? Little bit changes, right? See, the number changes. Change that. Receiving and transmitting. Because this is my another lecture of iPhone apps developments. This should be on. Oh, we need to change this. Why it comes? So this. The point here is, if you want to show some command, refresh periodically, then you can combine 2 commands. Command that you want to show. Usually, if you want to see current status of some action, if you know the command for that, then you can combine that to watch command. Okay, that is something good, right? Okay, I think you have to interrupt it. Control C. Oh, it's not interrupted. Yeah, Control C. If we want to run this at background, what do you need to do? We looked at last time, right? At the end, if you say %, then it goes at the background, although we don't see that, right? If you want to bring it back, then foreground, then that is there. If we want to send this, push this back to the background by, at this point, because this is one process is running, right? This is one process, but actually 2 processes are combined. So the first process is IP link, and the other process is watch, and combined together. So 3 processes are running. So if you want to push them to the background while it is running, then you cannot do the command line and ending with that %, right? You cannot do that. There's no way that you could do. At this point, then you have to use shortcut key. Shortcut key. So keyboard should be used. Shortcut key. What key that we need to push this back to the background? There's a Command Z, right? Command G, then it goes to background. Stopped means my foreground process is stopped. It pushed back. And if I want to bring it back, then foreground. If we want to stop if you want to kill this, then Control C, real interruptions. Then that is killed. It's not anymore foreground. Okay. Here another option, which is good. Previously, very hard to see, which one is updated, right? If you use -D command options here, -D, then you can see something highlighted. Oh, foreground. See something highlighted though? You can quickly see, oh, that's updated. Cybersecurity professionals really need to use watch command quite often, right? So you want to run some program continually and periodically updated, so you can see, you can monitor the status of some activities rather than issuing command all the time, which is handy, right? And looks like, oh, I'm working something actively, right? To show to your top manager. Top manager usually do not know. Any question about this? Okay, move. So we looked at, this is another, yeah, we know this and we know this, that, and then ping, this is for testing connections. So you can, I want to kill this by shortcut key, Control C. Ping 192.168.1.7.25. That is my MacBook, right? Currently, I'm on my Raspberry Pi. Ping, then can reach. Right? It send my signal. Quick. Control C. IP route, we already looked at that, right? So we have it. And then route is another command. This is all the ones. Route and ifconfig, those two commands are subsumed, the new command IP, right? Remember that to get the IP address, we need to do ifconfig, but now we use IPA. Routing information, you can do in old route and -n, then some of the routing informations, right? Here, this is my destinations, gateway here, and some of the mask and the flags, matrix. I believe I have another thing somewhere. I explained that. I want to bring it. Yeah, here. This is route N, right? Command. So first one is a destination. Second one is gateway. Jan mask. There's a subnet mask. Defines how big the destination network is. So here the destination is 0, 0, 0, 0 dot 0 dot 0 dot 0 dot 0. Then for example, this is a maximum, right? 255, 255. Let's move to flags. U means router is up. G means uses gateway. So router is up. U means up. In this case, if we see the destination of this, then this looks like a loop back. Then this is up and using the gateway. And the matrix, this is a priority. And iFace, I think this is interface, right? Both are using WLAN 0. So we looked at that. If you want to see all the open network ports, this guy gives you the IP address, right? What about the port? Then you need to do SS. So manual SS. Then another utility to investigate the socket. Socket means the port. Okay. Through the port, the packets can be incoming or going out. So this is a socket utilities. So you can do SS and the minus TULN. That's investigation the sockets. So some of the port numbers are listed here. This is the port number 44,003, 5353, and those are the port number. This 80 is on because web server is running at my side. I didn't set up. I set up HTTP, but not HTTPS. If you set up HTTPS, then you will have another. I believe it 3306. This may be, I think, MySQL, maybe. 22, that is for SSH, secure shell. 5900. This is also secure shell. So those are the ports currently open. So SS that is a very useful command also. So if you see IP address and port number, then you can identify specific you know now how you can intrude into a host, a specific host, because that host has IP and port is open, then you can get in through the port.
What's that asterisk? The asterisk and then there's a port number?
It could be anything, but I think this is from the port address, PO address. If someone from somewhere to communicate with this, then currently we don't really care opponent's port. Opponent port could be from any. Therefore, your firewall. Through the firewall, you can handle something. So let's do nested. Again, here you have to see manual first. Then printed network connection, routing tables. This gives you a lot of information, right? Netstat. If it is not installed, you have to install it. So let's see, netstat minus GULN. They're very similar to the other, right? This is foreign address here. This is my local. And then protocol here. Currently listening. 2280. My web currently listening, right? It is patch is installed. We installed it, right? So open this web browser. If I see here local host, restore. Why nothing? I believe it may ask something behind. No, not. But you can get it from, for example, Safari. If you have your MacBook, Safari can work for example, HTTP 192.168. I believe it's 7.60. Only 7.60 what? What is my IP? I'm going to close this. My IP is 61. So I can do here 61, 61, and then index that HTML. Then I can get it, right? Or I can do jun.php, then I have my this goes to this web browser. So what I'm saying here is 80 is open and listening, right? This is my web server is running. Statistics. Statistics network. UDP, TCP. That's the family options. So net stat minus S for statistics. I want to see only net stat. It gives me more, right? active internet connections protocol TCP UDP local address foreign address established. So those are two. This is active interconnections. So active Unix domain sockets. So some port informations. Some of the process appears here. User 1000, which means me, right? My UID is 1000. So some of this under me currently running. This is by system. This is user 1000, which is me. Telnet currently prohibited. Telnet was really, those Telnet is powerful. Therefore, if Telnet is allowed, then we can get in other systems very easily. So Telnet port is usually blocked. Through the Telnet, we can emulate so many things very easily. Through the Telnet, you can write a blackmail as if you are, for example, I'm the president of the United States, sending from White House IP. In that, using the Telnet, you can put that IP number, although your source is not really that IP, but you can hide. So powerful protocol, therefore it can attack. If Telnet is offered available, then attack is very simple. Now Telnet is not available. So if you want to test the port activities, then you can do something through this port number. You can mimic. You can do something. Here, Netcat. Netcat is now available, so we can do Netcat, and then manual Netcat. Oh, Netcat is not available. Oh, then we have to install it. Sudo apt. I'm not sure. The package name is nc. Try nc. nc is not. What about Netcat? No. We have to install it, right? Netcat. So find out. Here. Netcat traditional. What about Raspberry Pi? Netcat. Netcat open BSD. That's the command. Netcat open BSD. So Netcat is installed. So we do NC for Netcat. Manual NC. Arbitrary TCP and UDP connections and listens. So Netcat is very, very useful, right? It's used to just about anything under the sun involving TCP, UDP, Unix domain sockets. Very, very useful ones. So there is a option Z and C. Let's see what it is. Small c, G, oh no, not C, Z and V. Minus G, only scan for listening demand without sending any data to them. Oh, this is good, right? We can listen some demands silently. Then we can do NCZ. So NC minus G, V, I think V is for Betis, if you want to see it. So google.com and 80 is possible. Morse.edu 80, that is succeeded. That port, see here, we can see the IP and port numbers, right? Very easily. So NCGB 192.168.7.61 port 80 also succeeded, right? That is in our case, this web browser. Info PHP, then we can see the PHP informations. So we can see that is the port number 80 open right now. NC minus GV, which one that you want to go? For example, cs.columbia.edu and 80. That's the website of that is that IP. Next. Okay. So we'll play with some of the IP. In the next few slides, I am going to teach you how IP number is formed, particularly IPv4 by 4-byte long IP address. If you see IP routes, then you can see this information that we looked at already, right? There you can see 192. Something about that, right? I want to show it to you here, IP route. Then our case, 192.168.7.0/24. My IP is 192.168.7.61, but there is this information, So we want to see what is this. That tells us so many things. So for example, if it is 192.168.0/24, let's look at this first. There's 190. So first byte, 192 represented. On the second byte, 168. Third byte, 68. Fourth byte, 0. 1 byte, there are 8 bits, right? On that 8 bits, we put the binary code. So 11000000. That is for 192 in decimal. So in binary, 11000000. That is the binary code, which is equivalent to 192 in decimal code. Same thing, all of those, right? So if you have the packets, the binary code packets, then unpack the packets and get the binary code and identify, and some specific location. If there is 11000000, then we can say, oh, that is IP number 192 and 168, 68 and 0. This is IP address can be formed that way. If you look at that IP address slash some other number, right? Some other number, this kind of form is called CIDR format. What I mean by that is all of this through slash, there's a CIDR format. Classless interdomain range route, something like that. Okay, CIDR. So it tells us here IP address, yeah, of course, IP address. After slash, we call that prefix length. If it is 24, then it can tell me how many hosts are possible under this address. Because if this guy says 24, then 24 needs to be subtracted from 32. Then what is the number? We have 8, right? So 8-bit can be possibly used. So from 0000, 0000, we can do, no, yeah, from there, 11111111, right? 0000, that means in decimal 0, right? This in decimal 256, right? 250. Is it 250? Yeah, 256, right? No, I think 255, maybe. So altogether from here, how many kinds? 256 kinds. From 0 to 255. So if we say here 24, then we subtract that from 32, which is number 8. So we want to use 8-bit freely. So using the 8-bit, we can represent 256 different kinds of host. If we say here number 3, then 32 divided by 32. Yeah, this is too much. If we say 30, then 32 minus 30, then we have only 2 bytes, right? Using 2 bytes, so how much that we can do? You can do 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Only 4 kinds. If we say 24, we have 256 host part. How many number possible? 256 numbers possible. How many host? Actual host is, the first one cannot be host because this is usually used for gateway. That last one, that is a number used as an indicator. Indicator means this is the last number, so you can go beyond this number. So we don't use that, the last number either. So first number and last number will not be used, only within those numbers. Therefore, 254 hosts are possible if we say 24. If we say 30, then only 4 possible kinds. So first one is gateway. The last one is the indicator. That is the maximum. So how many hosts? Only 2 hosts are possible if we say 30. What I mean by that here, if we say this 192.168.68.0/30, then only 2 hosts are possible. If we have 24, then hey, we have 254 hosts are possible. That's what we have here. It represents all IP addresses from 192.168.192.168.68.0 from here to 255. So we can use all of this. So real host is 192.168.168.1 because the 0 will be used for, first one is for network address, the second one is a broadcast address, which is, this is the indicator for, hey, this is the last number, and this is, hey, this is the first number. Anything in between, that is this, from 1 to 254. So we have 254 numbers possible if we have this. So we can see a very interesting command that we can see here. ipcalc. If you do not have ipcalc, then you have to install it. But I think I already installed. So sudo apt install ipcalc. That is installed. Then we can see ipcalc 192.168.1.0 and, for example, 30. Remember that if I say 30, then we have only 2 hosts available out of 4 possible kinds. So if I hit this, then what happens? These are the fixed. So only 4 kinds. Okay. So network 00. broadcast 11. So minimum host number is this. Because I said 192.168.1.0. So 192.168.1.1 or 192.168.1.2. Only two host IP addresses possible. Exact same ones if I do 7.61, this is my current IP, right? If I say /30, then if I ask you what is how many hosts are possible under this CDIR, then you can say two IPs. What are the first and last IP? Give me first and last IP address. Then that is 61 and 62. If I say here 24, then I have a lot more, right? Look here. Then first IP is 192.168.7.1, and the last IP is 192.168.7.254. So 254 hosts are possible. This is class C, still class C. So ipcalc, this command gives us, if your math is not accurate, then you can run this command. But I want you to understand the mathematics calculation, right? Real paper and pencil calculation. If I say this, given this, then what is the first minimum IP address? Minimum IP address is this. What is the maximum IP address? That is this. What is gateway? What is indicator? That is this. Okay. Any question about this? CIDR represented, subnet. So we looked network setup. This network setup will be the next week. We are going to do this. FW, there's a firewall. U, what U stands for? Uncomplicated. So we want to do UFW. I studied the UF, University of Florida, long time ago. UFW. And what this means, I want to set up, for example, this is one of UFW rule, firewall rules. I want to allow from this IP address. So how many ports, how many hosts that I can receive? 254 hosts, right? What are those? 192.168.68.1, 192.168.68.2, all the way up to 254. And then port number. Any port, 5,000. From here, any port. And I want to open 5,000 ports. So accept the traffic from IP that starts from that as long as it hits port 5,000. So I don't care the port number of this. That type of rules will be discussed next week. That will be the last topic of this semester. Some of the things I want you to look at. This is group work. I'll give you about 2 minutes. So those who are able to do it. If you do not have your Raspberry Pi right now, I want to review the concepts that we learned today so far. Okay, the first two commands can be compared. IP link show if I want to consider wireless interface card only, then using the link command, link option for IP command, then it shows this, and then address command this. So let's see the difference. Address shows me more about IP address command. Address, if you see compare link option and ADDR, link has, what link gives you more than what address can gives you? That is only, I believe that is this border dormant, right? Only this. And then there is the MAC address. MAC address can be seen from your ADDR options. But ADDR options can give you more about IP, right? But IP command has another very useful option, which is neighbor, IP neighbor. Then you can see the port numbers. Oh, no, MAC address. The IP address is, for example, 192.168.7.1. Then this is a MAC address through this network interface, and 10.128.128.128, then there's another MAC address. This guy looking for the neighbor, 192.168.7.25. 25 is my MAC, right? Now I am working on my Raspberry Pi, right? But my Raspberry Pi understands, oh, there is my neighbor. I want to see what other my neighbors available. Still 3. I want to see others. Not yet. So others, I think we looked at this already, right? So let's try to get this sudo IP monitor. So sudo IP. So another option for IP command. IP monitor. Let's see, Firefox. There's a neighbor. Yeah, 7.1. Got that. I want to show more study view. localhost. I have a localhost. Or you can do 127.0.0.0. Still you can get, right? /jun.php. We're very nice on that, but doesn't really show from outside. Can anyone, if you have a Raspberry Pi, can you type this once? See if you can reach me. If you are the Wi-Fi router is connecting to empty CIS lab Wi-Fi like this.
I won't be. I'm linked to Tailscale. I won't be able to see that right now. Right?
You cannot? Marco, what is your?
My pi is in the house, but I'm on Tailscale. I got it linked. I think I'll be able to see if they. I'm not local.
Okay. Anyone? Huh? What is your IP? Your Raspberry. Are you do you have your Raspberry Pi or? Anyone has a Raspberry Pi? To give me your IP. Hold on. 192.168.7.41. Yeah. Yours is reachable, right? So I can see here. That is monitored right now. Right? So your MAC address is this. Okay, let's move. Next topic is a network address translation, NAT. Oh, I see on it. Oh, 41. Okay. From the World Wide Web, there is a router. Through the router, World Wide Web, to this router, let's say my IP is static IP. So 254.123.17.24.25. This is my static IP address. Oh, I have another one. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay. Under my subnet, I have 192.168.1.57.59, something like that. My desktop, my tablet, my cell phones. So we say this outside, that is a public IP address. And inside here, there is a private IP address. So how can my router from outside, you can see my router my static IP only, right? They do not know this specific IP. And all over the world, this 192.168.1.57, so many, so millions of the same numbers available. How come then it can come to this successfully? That is possible from this NAT services, translation services. NAT allows multiple devices in your local home network, your subnet, to share a single public IP. So these guys, all of this shares this public IP. Oh, 25, this is me. It's still monitoring, right? So that is NAT. So how it is possible? Think of your router as a receptionist in an office building. The building has one street address, but every employee has the extension numbers, right? So once you get in that building, then you can ask, where is Nicholas' room number? Where is Julie's room number? Right? We can ask there. When I come here on this router, I can ask, where is John's desktop? That type of things. How it is possible? We can have here. That is an IP, that is a MAC address, right? So your NAT uses that MAC address. If you have this MAC address, hey, you go to that. If you want to go to that, so NAT identifies the MAC address and convert it to the dynamic IP address. What I mean by that here, there is a table on this router, right? Because this router assigned the IP, dynamic IP, through DHCP. So this guy knows what MAC address has what IP that I assigned to. So there is a list. This IP goes to the MAC address. Another IP goes to that another MAC address. Therefore, you can forward that IP all the way to that. So forward and reverse, forward and
there were ropes and signs.
Is it from me? Okay. So there is a ARP table, which is the address resolution protocol. And then if we were using IPv6, then there's a neighbor discovery table, ARP table or neighbor discovery table, where there is a MAC address like this. So MAC address and IP are one-to-one mapping, so they can find, right? Like this. So you see here, as you can see here, reachable states that we can see here also. So many such things. Lab 1, private CIDR2 internet via net. So you can see what is your subnet, what is your interface, what is your laptop and Raspberry Pi IP. So you can see this. So can you fill out some of this? Any number there, gray, in gray, could be different at your side, right? So if you can find, I want you to see this. So you may be able to see the LAN subnet and then router interface and then laptop on your laptop and on your Raspberry Pi. What happens is your IASP gives you the route, one publics. So what is public IP of yours? Some of the commands that you may be interested in is this. Active connections on your Mac OS, you can use this command. Raspberry Pi OS, then you can use this. We already looked at that ss command, right? Some of the output can be filtered out. So for example, ss, I want to stop this. ss minus tunap. So many, right? What that means is I want to get TCP, UDP, numeric for all, show the process, show the command. So how many such things available? When I open this, some of the Firefox is running, right? My Firefox somewhere. Yeah, this is a Firefox right now running. So net ID. So some of the protocols listed on the first column, UDP, TCP. That's what I asked, right? TCP and UDP. And number, numeric. All the columns. State, unconnected, established, unconnected, listens. This is listening. That is listening. These ports are not connected. 68 ports established. Through the TCP 192.168.7.61, this is my IP, and 53.724, this is the port number. It goes to 34.107, this is IP address, through 443, this is, I believe this is HTTPS, right? So from here, no, here, let's see what is, probably is one of those, right? Or mercy.edu. I think that is more studied view. So if we see this from my here, let's try here. Here, enter. HTTPS. Connections private. Then we can do 443. Well, that is HTTPS. It doesn't show that. Right, it's not. I think this goes to Firefox. I'm not sure. I have another. So process for this TCP process, which is a program, a Firefox program. Process ID is 4676. FD, I do not know what that means. Right. That's what we can see here. To capture the traffics, Raspberry Pi, we can do netstat. This is old. Deep inspections. Then you can do list of files, np-i, TCP dump, right? So to capture the file, TCP dump -n interface eth0 eth0. So you can man TCP dump. No manuals. Don't I have that? Sudo TCP dump. Oh, not available. So how can I get the TCP dump? On Raspberry Pi, TCP dump install. TCP dump itself is the packages. So we can do sudo apt install TCP dump. So it is available. So man TCP dump traffic on a network. It's very useful, right? So you can do sudo TCP dump. Let's try it with no option. See what happens. The same thing can be seen in your Wireshark, right? This goes so much, so fast. So if you want to filter something, then you can do. So sudo TCP dump, for example, -n and -i WLAN 0, maybe. No, let's do ETH 0 and TCP port number 80 or TCP port 443 through the Ethernet, right? But if we want to do this WLAN, a lot more, right? Right now, mine is only through that. So if I access from my more, then you can see a lot more. For example, www dot where mit.edu, then it's a lot more. Then you can see. Something that you can see from Wireshark, for example, you can get that here also. So you can do PCAP format of the file for output. That is possible. If you have a PCAP, then you can visualize it on your Raspberry Pi. No, on your Wireshark command. You can install Wireshark here, right? Sudo apt install Wireshark. Yes. Then you can install Wireshark. Configure Wireshark. Yes. Should no super user able to capture the packets? Should non-super user? Non-super user can do also. In your real production systems, you should not allow, right? Only super user need to do. If you want to do, then you can do sudo and Wireshark or anyone. Yes. So Wireshark. We can see the Wireshark here, right? Interface. Oh, this is the filter. Where can I get the interface? File capture. All interface shown. External capture. Yeah, just let it go, right? Then you can see SSH server, remote SSH, authentications. Server address. Oh, some of the password. Close. What if I do sudo? I think it can go. Yeah, it can go. If I do sudo, then it can go, right? What this guy says, wrong messages, capture stop. Oops. So some of the packets can be captured. Some of the actual traffics can be captured by TCP dump. That is a command line for your the visualizations. You can use Wireshark. If you can see only one traffic, then you can specify the host number, right? Specific host or specific port. That's fine too. This is on Mac. This is for Raspberry Pi, but they are same. Windows, yeah, I think Windows is a little bit. Some of these may work, some of not. Okay, so those are the network management. And this is a special mounting USB stick. Some of your friends in, I think probably online, ask about USB stick, memory sticks management for some reason, right? If they have some error on the Raspberry Pi, I want to see it as a file, then the students do not know how to send it to me. Particularly, the easiest way is that if you open one of your workable the web browser, then you can do here mail.google.com, so that you can do some of the Google emails, right? You can attach that, and you can open file from your laptop, and you can send it to me as an attachment. That's another way, right? But if you want to do directly from your Raspberry Pi through the USB, then I can say here on Raspberry Pi OS, USB stick usually auto-mounted, which is very good news, right? You do not need to worry about all the issues of mounting, right? That's what I'm saying. If you want to do mount, then manually that is possible. You have to first create a directory on the MNT directory. Remember that here? CD on top, ls, then there is, MNT directory. CD MNT, right now nothing mounted, right? But you can create a mount. Hey, I want to say USB mount. Then you can see it. Okay, this is a manual. But current model of a Raspberry Pi OS, there's auto-mounted. What that means is that if you have a stick like this, USB, then you can simply plug this into your Raspberry Pi. So I want to put this, plug this, then, oh, we are lucky. This guy identifies it, right? So that means that is automatic mount. If you say okay, then you can see it. That is usually on the media, right? I'll show you. If you can mount on the MNT directory, okay? If you mount it automatically, then automatically it is on the media. Do you see MNT and media? So when I go to, so this MNT, you don't see mine. Although that is a mounted, that mount, USB mount is not the Linux standard mount. That goes into media directory. So CD, media, ls, then you can see JUN, CD JUN. That is your ID of your Raspberry Pi. Inside you can see, you name it. So what that means is that media, this is my media, JUN. You name it, right? I named also ISP. Okay. Here, you don't, in your media, you have a media, but you cannot see, let me see if I can change this. Oh, I can change this. See if I can change it. You cannot, right? That is the problem. How can you do that? So this is what I made, right? I show you how I made this. Once you get in, if you see something, which is, you can see some media, then you can change that, right? Then you need to do sudo and move your name, JUN to YUN. Then come back here. Now you have YUN, right? Under this, I already created this, right? ISP 221S26. I created that. But if I want to see, I can do CD YUN, ls, CD IASP, that. Inside here, I want to create my directory. This guy, you cannot. But your command, you can do that. So mkdir, I want to do mkdir, and then I want to put today's date. So 20 April. Permission denied, so that I need to do sudo mkdir. Then you will see 20 April, right? Open this. CD 20 APR. There's nothing. Now, how can I bring some files to here? If you say, hey, can I do, for example, a home, there's a JUN, and I want to see, is there anything? Video templates. Or if I want to see, for example, ETC and WPA, supplicant, and then there is a WPA supplicant.conf file. I want to copy this, copy, and come back here, 20 APR, and then paste. What do you think of this? It's not possible, right? Permission denied. So what you need to do at the command line, you need to use the CP. Of course, you have to do sudo CP and etc WPA supplicant and WPA, I think, conf file. I want to say this is a source and destination. My destination is here. I want to save it into 20 APR directory. Then you simply say dot my current and hit enter. Then you can see that file here, right? This is the file. Can you read it? Open with there's no application, right? So double click. That's the same thing. So only thing that you need to do, you can do more WPA permission denied. So you need to do sudo more, then you can see. Right, this is this is my home. If you come to my home and using that, then you can hack in my, right? So clear ls. Okay. So if you did the mount after you create, then you can use mount command. Before we do, I want to show this to you. List bulk lst blk -f files list blk list blk. Then you can see, I'll explain this. This is a media bulk. You see this is ext and FAT. This is a file type, F type. This is the name and F type. See the F type? Then if that is a FAT F type, this is FAT is, this is a file formats developed by Microsoft, which is file allocation type. I think FAT stands for file allocation types. ext, that is a Linux format, which is extensional type 4. This is FAT32. FAT32. Oh, this is a type, I guess. This is, yeah, ext4. The real ID here, that is ID of my file system, 104 gigabytes. It uses 6%. My SD card over my Raspberry Pi. Remember that our Raspberry Pi, the size is 128 gigabytes. I use the 6% only. So 104 gigabytes are free, available. my USB stick memory, I think that is 8 gigabytes. Yeah, 8 gigabyte size, right? This is 8 gigabyte size. 8 gigabytes. And it can be accessed by the SDA from the device, which is 7.21 gigabytes, 2% used. That is bootable, I believe. That is 15%. I think that is a partitioned that way. I'm not sure. Yeah, Transcend. So if you go to CDDEV, so this is SDA1. We have SDA. We have SDA and SDA1. So this gets SDA. It's not a directory, but SDA is currently that one. There's a binary files. Here it says a binary. This is a media, SDA, SDA1. Actually, but real media is in media format. Real media is media, so that you can see Yun. That is my stick memories, but it is identified by this SDA. How do you know? That is from LSPLK minus F, so that we can see it. We looked at this copy and copy, right? Unmount, we can do unmount, command unmount. If sometimes unmount is not available, it says the target is busy, then you have to say list MNT. Here, this is another command. PLK ID. So sudo PLK ID DB SDA 1. That is this SDA 1. PLK ID is a label transcend. UUID, black size of that. What is SDA? That is DOS. SDA 1. Actually, it is, that name is Transcend, although I changed it to, yeah, it was originally to Transcend. I think, yeah, up to this, I think I'm done. All that I prepared for today. So we've done network management, and then one extra, how we can manage USB memory stick if you want, so that you can save your work into your memory sticks. It can be automatically mounted, but everything needs to be done using Linux command. Because in the Linux command, you can do sudo, right? You can avoid the privilege issues. Oh. Yeah. And then next week, as I said, there's async online, so you can learn the last lecture from me, which is a firewall rule. You may not have any additional homework assignments, but the final exam. So you have to practice you have to understand that those all the information about the firewall rule. That's for next week. And the week after that, we will have a Zoom. There we will do a final review. If you want to get better grade for your final grade, then you need to come to the final review, right? Or if you are strong enough, you don't need to come the final review. Any question before we? So face-to-face, I think today is the last face-to-face. You don't need to. In this semester, I give you thanks. You guys wake up very early, the Monday morning. Me too. You don't need to anymore. Sleep well Monday morning from next week. So our Zoom is 2 weeks from today, but in the evening. So you don't need to wake up early. And the final exam, you need to choose out of 3 possible options. Okay. So first option is the Dobbs Ferry in-class in-person test. Second option, Saturday morning online, but online requirements only if you can meet that online requirements, then you need to pursue the option 2. If you fail on option 2, you need to come to the third option, which is Manhattan campus. I think that is May 12, 13, yes, something like that. All right. Other than that, thank you this semester, and I will see you sometime later before you graduate or at your commencement. All right. Have a good day.